Alrighty, scholars. It's a beautiful day to do mathematics. Every day is a beautiful day to do mathematics. Because math is awesome and it's off the Frizzle. We're the NFL Nerds for Life. Alright, since you guys are crunchy awesome, let's go ahead and do this crunchy problem. We have the natural log of x minus 2 plus the natural log of 2x minus 3 equals 2 times ln of x. Look at this. I have the ln of a log, so a natural log plus natural log. What is it? What's our property say if I have ln of u plus ln of v? What's that property called? The product property, right? Because then we could do ln of u times v. So if you ever add two logarithms or two natural logs, that's the same thing as combining them together and multiplying those guys. So I can combine these two guys together by saying the natural log of, and I'm going to put them in brackets here to distinguish from the parentheses, x minus 2 times 2x minus 3. Okay? I'm just using this property right here. I just multiply my u and my v. And that equals my 2 times the natural log of x. Okay? So let's think here. Hey, we could almost use our one-to-one property where we're taking the ln of both sides, and then we could just set these equal to each other, but this 2 is in the way. Don't we have a property? Oh, you were tricking me. Oh, or we can move this 2. We can move this 2 up here, can't we? So look, that's the natural log. And I'm going to go ahead and just multiply this all out now. X squared, I'm sorry, 2x squared, right? X times 2x is 2x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x times negative 2 times negative 2x is negative 4x. So negative 3x minus 4x is a negative 7x. So I kind of just did that real quickly, but you can do this FOIL method yourself. And then negative 2 times negative 3 is a positive 6 is equal to the ln of x to the power 2. So now, this is so rad. Oh, heck yeah. Now that we're taking the logarithm of both sides, I'm sorry, the natural log of both sides. So now we get 2x squared minus 7x plus 6 equals x squared. And now we go back to our algebra days of factoring and solving. So we're trying to solve for x, right? So let's move this term over here. Okay, so that's going to become minus x squared. I'm going to minus x squared from both sides, so I get x squared minus 7x plus 6 equals 0. 0 to hero. Factor this guy. Okay, these two terms must give me x squared, so I know it's going to be x and x. These two terms must give me 6, so 6 and 1. Positive 6 and negative 7, so negative and negative there equals 0. And you can always check this work by multiplying this out and see if you get this. So let's go ahead and solve for x. So I set both of these equal to 0, right? And we talked about that in a couple of videos ago of why we set them equal to 0. So x minus 6 equals 0. X minus 1 equals 0. So x equals to 6. X equals to 1. Now, I just want to talk about this real quick, and that is sometimes even the answers that we get aren't even right answers. Meaning, if you were to plug them back into the original equation, you would not get a true answer. It would be false. So let me just write down what the problem was again here. So the problem was the natural log of x minus 2 plus the natural log of 2x minus 3, and that equaled 2 ln of x, right? So let's just see what happens. What happens if I were to magically plug in this little 1? Okay, if I were to plug in 1 right here, if I were to plug in 1 right here, and if I were to plug in 1 right here. Well, let's just look at this side, okay? If I plug in 1, ln of 1 minus 2 plus ln of 2 times 1 minus 3. Okay, let's just look at this real quick. Isn't this the ln of negative 1 plus the ln of 2 minus 3 is negative 1? If you try to put the natural log of negative 1 in your calculator, you will get The error message, it's not possible. Okay, you cannot take the natural log or the regular log of a negative number. So just by plugging in this 1 right now, we find out that it's not even going to give us an answer. So what we call this answer right here, we don't call it that it's dumb, even though we're like, well, what the heck is that? We call this an extraneous roots. Okay, let's see here, extraneous roots. ES root. We call this an extraneous, meaning it's, even though we found one, it's extraneous, meaning it's not actually a real solution. So really, 1 is not the solution. But if you were to plug in 6, I mean, obviously, look, 6 minus 2 is a positive number. 12 minus 3 is a positive number, so we're fine right there, okay? As long as that number is positive, you can take the log. You can take the natural log of a positive value. But if it ever becomes negative, that's not possible. So it's very important that at times that you do check your answer just to make sure that it doesn't give you a negative answer. And if it does, you say that it is extraneous. But if it's going to give you a positive answer, then we know that 6 is going to be an A-OK answer.